Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are going to be looking at regular expressions from the FreeCodeCamp curriculum. So far I have published videos on these, the basic JavaScript part, and also on the ESS part. I will leave links to it in the description below. Be sure to check it out. Alright, so let's get started with the regular expressions. Okay, so let's do the very first one. Alright, so the first one is about using the test method. Alright, but before that, regular expressions are just a way of matching characters. Okay, so as we continue this, I'll be explaining some of the concepts and you would get to understand it probably by the end of this. Okay, so like I said, they are used in programming languages to match parts of a string. Okay, so if you have a string, let's say hello world, and you want to match part of it, let's say this hello, and do something with it, maybe replace it or do something with it, you can use regular expressions. All right, so there is this method called the test method. Okay, and the way it works is that it checks your string whether a particular part is present. So for example, here we have FreeCodeCamp, and in our regex we say code. So this test method will check the string FreeCodeCamp to see if code exists in it. And here, as you can see, code exists, so it will return true. All right. So the exercise or challenge here is to apply my regex on the string, my string, using the test method. Okay. So here we have my regex, which is the string hello, and want to apply it on my string. So what we'll do is we'll say my string dot test, and then we put my regex inside the parentheses. Sorry, it should be the other way around. It should be my regex dot test, then my string. Yeah, that's how it should be. So now when we console.log results, see what we have. See, we have true. Okay, because hello is present in the string hello world. All right, let's move on. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is something called matching the literal string. Okay, so here what we have is we have a name called Kevin, and over here we also have Kevin. So when we apply the test method with the argument Kevin, we'll see that it will return true. But assuming we change this Kevin to make it have a small letter K, then this will return false because this is case sensitive. So what you are searching for has to be exactly the same. If one is a small letter and one is a capital letter, it will return false. Okay, but later we'll learn how to make it such that it can return true whether it's a small letter or a capital letter. So the test can always, all right, so complete the regex Waldo regex to find Waldo in the string Waldo is hiding. Okay, so we have here somewhere Waldo is hiding and we have Waldo regex. So we want to find Waldo. So what we'll do is we just type Waldo here. So that's our test regex, or Waldo regex in this case. So let me console.log result, and as you can see, it returns true. Now if I were to do small letter W like this, you see it returns false because this is small letter, this Waldo here is a capital letter. So it is strictly case sensitive. All right, next up, let's see how we can search one or more words. So far what we've been doing is that we've been searching for just a single word, but it's also possible to search for more than one word, and the way you do that is to use this pipe symbol here. This pipe symbol means or. So when you do a regex like this, okay, you are saying search for yes or no. Okay, so complete the pet regex to match the pet dog, cat, bird, or fish. Okay, so I'll clean this and want to match dog, or so I'll bring the pipe symbol like this, cat, or another pipe symbol, bird, or another pipe symbol, fish, and there you have it. So this is going to search for any of these. So if he sees this, it will return true. If he sees cat, it will return true. If he sees bird, it will return true. If he sees fish, it will return true. And in this case, we have cat here, so this is going to return true. So let's console.log result and see what we have. We have true. Okay, all right. Okay, now let's see, we were earlier talking about the fact that this .test or this regex is case sensitive. So if we want a situation where we don't want it to be case sensitive, there's something we can use. It's called the I flag. So after writing our regex, we add I to it. So let's see an example. Here we have the FCC regex. We want it to match FreeCodeCamp no matter its case. Your regex should not match any abbreviations or variations with spaces. Okay, so simply we just write FreeCodeCamp, and then if I should console.log result, you see that it returns false. Okay, but if I should add the I flag, so after this I write I, now you see the console.log result returns true. So this I means that you should check it and ignore the case. So when you get to this capital C, you will ignore it because of the I, and this capital C too will be ignored. Okay, so I can even write this and it will still return true. Okay, all right. Okay, now let's see how to extract matches. Okay, so far what we've been doing is we've been using the test method, and the test method, what it does is that it just returns true or false. So true if the match is present and false if it is not present. But what if we wanted to extract the match? So the way that we got, what if we wanted to return it? Well, what we use is something called .match method. So for example, here we have hello world, which is a string, and we are adding the match method to it, and we are passing to it the string hello. So what it will do is that it will return this hello string if it is present. If it is not present, it will not return it. So let's see an example. So apply the match method to extract the string coding. Okay, so I'm just going to change this and say coding. Now over here, what I will do is extract str dot match, and then bring your parentheses and pass to it coding regex. Okay, now let's do a console.log of result and see it returns coding. Ignore these ones, but it returns the word or the string that we're matching. All right. All right, now what if we wanted to find more than the first match? So for what we've been doing is that we've only been looking forward to the first match that we find. But assuming we have twinkle, twinkle here and want to return all of the matches, well, what we can do is to use something called the global flag, which we write by saying J. Okay, so when we write J, it will search through the whole thing and bring us all the matches. All right, so using the regex flag, find and extract both twinkle words from the twinkle star. So here we have the twinkle star, which is twinkle, twinkle, little star. So we have the star regex. So with the star regex, we say twinkle, and let me do a console.log of twinkle, result. So let's say dot match into bracket star regex. Okay, so now you see it returns only twinkle because twinkle is the only one that matches. First of all, we are not checking whether it's case sensitive or not, so I'll bring the I. Now if I bring the I, you see it's now returning the first twinkle. So once it returns the first twinkle, that's it. It doesn't check for the rest of the string. But remember the J or the global flag we're talking about. So if we use it, let's say if we say J, because here we say note, you can have more than one flag. So you can have multiple flags on your regex. So you can have JI or IG. So let's add our J. Now you see it returns the first twinkle and the second twinkle as well. All right, so that's the use of the global flag for regex. Okay, now let's talk about something called the wildcard. Okay, so the wildcard is denoted with a period, and you use that when you don't know the exact characters in your pattern. Okay, so for example, we have this ham string here, or ham str, which is our ham a song. So it has this ham. This one has bear hug, which has this. Okay, so now you can say HU, then you bring your period. Okay, now this HU regex.test hamstring will return true. This one will also return true because hag contains the HU. Ham also contains the HU. So we are looking for all the words that contains the HU. Okay, so that's what we are using. So now complete the regex on regex so that it matches the strings run, sun, fun, pan, nan, and ban. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is to clean this out here, bring our wildcard, which is the dot, and say UN. So any word that has UN and something before it will be returned, right? So let's console.log and we'll say result, and you see it returns true. Okay. Okay, now let's see how we can match single character with multiple possibilities. Okay, so for example here we have a big str which is big, we have another one which is bag, we have another one which is bug, we have another one which is bog. So notice that all of these have a B before it and then a G after it, and then in between there is something. Okay, so we can write a regex and bring your B, bring your G here, and then in between it we bring our square bracket, and then inside the square bracket you write the letters that you expect to find. Okay, so any of these will return the right string. Okay, so let's see an example here. Here we have code sample, which is the string right here. and then we are told to use the character class with vowels in your regex to find all the vowels in the string quote sample. Okay. Yeah. So here, what we want to do is we want to find all the vowels. Okay, so we know the English language, the vowels is A, E, I, O, U, and then want to find it and then return it. We also want to make sure that both upper and lowercase vowels are returned. So we say I to make sure that both upper and lowercase vowels are returned. And let's say vowel regex dot, we say quote sample dot match, and then vowel regex. Now as you can see, it returns only the first vowel, and that's because we are not adding the J or the global flag. So add J, and as you can see, it now returns all the vowels from here. Okay, that's what we want. Okay, next up, we can also match letters of the alphabet. Okay, so you saw how you can use character set to specify a group of characters to match, but there's a lot of typing when you need to match a large range of characters. So for example, for every letter in the alphabet, but there's a built-in feature, so you can use this dash symbol. So for example, if you want to match all the letters from A to E, that is A, B, C, D, and E, you just write it like this. You bring your square bracket, and inside your square bracket, you write A, bring your dash, and then E. Okay, so JavaScript will look for all the letters from A to E. So let's see an example. Here, we have a code sample and want to match all the letters in the string. So the way we can do that is to clean this up, bring our square brackets, and we say A to Z, because that's all the letters, right? So A to Z. And then let's make sure to bring our I flag. Okay, so this fails. Your regex alphabet should match 35 letters. Your regex should use the global. Okay, so we are not using the global flag yet, so we should use the global. Okay, like this. And now we are going to say quote sample dot match. Let's put this into brackets. Let's console.log the result we are getting, so we see if we are doing the right thing. And as you can see, it returns every single one of the letters there. Okay, 35 of them. Okay, now let's see how we can match numbers and letters. So far what we've been doing is we've been looking at how to match letters, but it's possible for us to also match numbers as well. And the way we do that is similar to how we match letters. The way we do A to Z, we can also do 0 to 9 or 0 to 5 or 0 to whatever number we are matching. So here we want to create a single regex that matches a range of letters between H and S and a range of numbers between 2 and 6. Remember to include the appropriate flags in the regex. So just going to clean this up, bring our square bracket. We say H to S, and we also say 0 to, no, it should be 2 to 6, like so. Now we are going to do code sample dot match, and I'm going to console.log result. Okay, so let's bring our I flag. Let's also bring our global flag. Okay, as you can see, we are logging all the H to S characters and then also all the 2 to 6 characters. So you see that one is not part of what we are returning, and also you can see that E is not part, D is not part, because that's not between H and S. All right. Okay, so build match single characters not specified. Okay, so we've created a lot of set of characters that we want to match, but what if we wanted to do the opposite? So instead of returning what we are matching, we want to return what we are not matching. Okay, so the way we do that is to use this caret symbol here, this symbol here. Okay, so you do that to create a negated set. You place a character after the opening bracket and before the characters you do not want to match. Okay, so create a single regex that matches all characters that are not a number or a vowel. Remember to include the appropriate flags. So we say A, E, I, O, U. So that's the A, E, I, O, U. That's all the vowels. And we also say we don't want it to be a number. So we'll say 0 to 9. And then we'll bring the caret in front of it. Okay, like so. Now let's bring our global. Let's also bring our case or our I so that it will not be case sensitive. Now let's do code sample dot match. Let's put my regex as argument. So now we're going to console.log results. Let's see what we are getting. Okay, as you can see, we are returning these characters, but it doesn't include a number, which is 3, and it doesn't include any of the vowels, which is I and E. Okay, note that we are also returning the space. Okay, we'll talk more about it very soon. Okay, next up, let's see how we can match characters that occur 1 or more 2 times. Okay, and we can do that using the plus character to check if a character returns 1 or 2 times. So for example, here we have ABC. So when we use the plus to check, it will return A because A only returns or is just once here. But when we use it to check this AA, because of the plus we've added here, it will return AA. Okay, so because it is checking if A occurs multiple times. Okay, now what we want to do also is that if we use this A plus here on AB to return A, first A, because there's a B between them, and then return the second A. It will not return AA like this. Okay, that's the difference you have to note. So here, let's test this out. So we have this difficult spelling Mississippi, and we have this my regex S plus. So let me reset this lesson. Yeah, that's how it should be. So you want to find matches when the letter S occurs 1 or more times in Mississippi. So write a regex using the plus sign. We have Mississippi, and as you can see, we have an SS here, we have another SS here. So we want to match all of those. So you're just going to say S plus. Okay, and let's console.log result. and see what we are getting, SS. Okay, so we are getting just the first one because we haven't added the global flag. Let's add the global flag, and you see we get the first SS, we also get the second SS. If I were to add something here, more SSS, you see it returns it as well. Okay, all right. Match characters that occur 0 or more times. So we've looked at characters that occur 1 or more times. We can also look at characters that occur 0 or more times. Okay, so how do we do that? We do that using this star symbol here. So let's see this example. For this challenge, chewy coat has been initialized as this R here. We want to create a chewy regex that uses the star character to match uppercase A character immediately followed by 0 or more lowercase a. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is write uppercase A immediately followed by A, and then we bring our star like this. So this will check whether there's an uppercase A that is immediately followed by lowercase a 0 or more times. Okay, so let's check, or let's console.log results. Let's see what we are getting. Okay, okay, so let's do something called lazy matching. So by default, regular expression do what we call greedy matching. So greedy matching works such that it finds the longest stretch of string that matches the given regex. Okay, but we can also do something called lazy matching, and what lazy matching does is that it is going to find the shortest pattern that matches it. Okay, so for example, here we have Titanic. Now if you do this, we have T and we have I. Now if you put this regex A to Z and then the star symbol, it's going to return Titani. Okay, but if you use the question mark sign, it does the lazy matching, so it returns the first one, just TI. So TI matches. Okay, so remember we have T here and then we have I here. So we want a situation where T begins and then I ends, and because of that TI matches, and so it will return it. Okay, but if we don't do the lazy loading and we just do the normal star symbol, it's going to go from T all the way to the last I. But when you do lazy loading, it first gets the first T, then the first I, and then returns whatever it is. So let's do the same thing here. So we have this regex, which is pre-written for us. We want to change it such that it returns the first H1 like so. So all we need to do is just bring our question mark here, and that's it. Let's do a console log to see what we are getting. And as you can see, we get the H1. All right. Okay. Now, how do we find one or more criminals in the hands? So, when we use the Z and then the plus, or when we add plus to a character, what we do is that, remember we were told that we find all the characters that are close to it that are similar. Okay, so here we have a greedy regex called that we want to do, we call it recriminals. Okay, and it is such that we want to find a situation where it will return C that are close together, like we have this Z here. So the way we do that is just write your C like so. It should be capital C because you are told a criminal is represented by a capital letter, okay? And then we'll bring our plus here. That's it. Okay. So now we want to match beginning string patterns. So prior challenges show that regular expression can be used to look for a number of matches. They are also used to search for patterns in specific positions in a string, okay? In an earlier challenge, you use the caret symbol inside a character to create a negated character set in the form like so. So we bring the caret symbol here, and then we bring the things that we don't want to match. Now, outside of a character set, the caret is used to search for patterns at the beginning. Okay, so if we were to put this caret outside of this bracket here, now it will search for whatever comes after it if it is at the beginning. So for example, here we have Ricky is first and can be found. So if we do the caret symbol and then we bring Ricky, it will check whether Ricky is actually what begins the string or is at the beginning of the string, and this is going to return true, this. But this second one is not going to return true because Ricky is not at the beginning. Ricky is somewhere in the middle here. Okay, so let's do something similar and say use caret character in a regex to find Carl only in the beginning of the string Ricky and Carl. So I'll just say caret symbol and then we say Carl. Okay, now let's console.log results, and as you can see it returns true. But assuming I write something here, my friend Carl and Ricky like racing, now this will return false because Carl is no longer at the beginning. Okay, but if I bring Carl back at the beginning, it still returns true. Alright, so that's something to take note of. Okay, so now we've looked at how to find a character that is at the beginning of a string. How do we find a character that is at the end of a string? Okay, the way we do that is to use the $sign and place it at the end of the character that we want to find. So here, we want to find story and want to check whether story is at the end of a string. So you write story, then you bring your $sign like so. So this is a never-ending story. This will return true. But sometimes a story will have to end. So story is in the middle here, and then it will return false. So let's see how we can use the anchor character here to match the string caboose at the end of the caboose of the string caboose. So let's see caboose. So I'll just clean this, just write caboose. Now bring the $sign. Now let's console.log result. Let's see what we are getting. See, we are getting true. Okay, so what if I put something here? Something. Now caboose is no longer at the end, so this will return false. Okay, all right, so I'll clean this up and continue. Okay, so now what if we wanted to match all letters and all numbers? Okay, the way we can write that, all letters, you can say A to Z and 0 to 9, or we can say A to Z capital, A to Z small, and then 0 to 9, and then underscore. Okay, but JavaScript gives us a shorthand or a very neat way of writing it. So instead of writing all of this, we can write this \W, and this \W is just a shortcut for this. So this \W means we are checking for all capital letters from A to Z, all small letters from A to Z, and all numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, all right, so let's do this. So I'm going to change this and we are told to use the shorthand character class / or \w to count the number of alphanumeric characters in various quotes and strings. So we say / like so, bring the w. Okay, now let's do a console.log of result. Okay. Okay, yeah, we get 1, and the reason is because we haven't added a global, so it just sent the first one and that's it. But if we add a global flag like so, it returns 31, which is the total number of characters here. All right. What is happening? Just a minute. Let me check my internet. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Let's continue. Okay. So next up, we want to match everything but letters and numbers. Okay, so you've learned that you can use a shortcut to match alphanumeric like A to Z like this using the shortcut \w. But what if you wanted to do the opposite? So wanted to find characters that are not numbers or letters or underscore character. What you can do is, instead of using \w, which is small w, you can use \w, that is the big or capital W. Okay, so want to use the shorthand character class \W to count the number of non-alphanumeric characters in various quotes and strings. Okay, so we have code sample here, so we just do this / and capital W. Okay, now let's do a console.log of results. Okay, we get 1. Let's add a, yeah, if we add a global, now we get 6. Okay, which is what we are looking for. Okay, next up, let's see how we can match all numbers. So just the same way as we can match all alphanumeric characters with \w, we can also match all numbers, only numbers, with \d. So instead of doing 0-9, we can just do \d, and that will represent all numbers. Okay, so we just here do \small d, and let's bring our global flag. Let's do a console.log of results, and you see we have 4 because 2001, there's 4 numbers. Okay, now let's see how we can match all non-numbers. So the same way we're doing capital W, we can also do big D or capital D, and then we'll get all non-numbers, all characters that are non-numbers. So \d like so, and let's do a console.log of results. Let's see what we are getting. Yeah, let's bring our global flag. I don't know why I always keep forgetting, but you have to take note of that, and don't forget to bring your global flag. Okay, so now let's see how we can do this challenge here. So now we are told that, okay, usernames are everywhere. There's a small challenge. Usernames are everywhere. They are what give users a unique identity on your favorite site. So you need to check all usernames in the database. Here are some simple rules that users have to follow. So we want to write a regex such that username can only use alphanumeric characters. Okay, and the only numbers in the username have to be at the end. Okay, there can be 0 or more of them at the end. Username cannot start with a number, okay? Username letters can be lowercase or uppercase, okay? Username have to be at least 2 characters long. A 2-character username can only use alphabet letters as characters. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to first of all, we are told that the only numbers in username have to be at the end, okay? Username can be at least 2 characters long. A 2-character username can only use alphabet letters as characters, okay? So which means that we want our Regex to always check if the username begins with an alphabet. And remember the caret symbol we use to check what is at the beginning. So you're going to use that and you're going to say A to Z. Check if the first character is A to Z, okay? That is if it is an alphabet. Then we also want to check the second character, okay? We want it to be an alphabet too. So we're going to say A to Z. Okay, now we're going to use the plus, which means there can be, after this first 2 characters, which has to be alphabet, we can have other characters too. Okay, so we're going to say plus, and let's bring our dollar symbol, which checks what is at the end. Okay, all right, then let's bring our pipe symbol. Okay, so let me explain what is happening here. Here, I am checking what the first character is going to be. And I'm checking that the first character has to be an alphabet. Here, I'm also checking that the second character has to be an alphabet. Okay, and that should be the end of it. So that is 4. So this will check 2 characters long usernames. So a 2-character username can only use alphabet letters as characters. Okay, so after checking 2-character long alphabet name, I also say or. So or, now let's check other character or other usernames that are not just 2 characters, but that contains other characters. So for those ones, what we'll check is, let's check what is at the beginning. Once again, as for the beginning, it always has to be A to Z. So it has to be an alphabet, okay? Now, what other constraints are we talking about? So let's bring the plus. And we also are saying that it can have letters throughout. We know that. So as long as this is a first, or the first letter is an alphabet, you can have the rest of them to be letters or alphanumeric numbers. So you can just say /W, which covers all alphanumeric numbers. Or we can have actual numbers at the end. So we are told, let's see. Yeah, the only numbers in username has to be at the end. Okay, so if there are numbers, it definitely has to be at the end. So we'll say this, and we'll say D. And let's bring our S to show that if there are, so this right here is showing that if there are numbers, it should be at the end. Okay, and now let's console.log result. Let's see what we are getting. Okay, yeah, that works. So let me try and explain what is happening here. So first, we are using this to check what is at the beginning. And we are saying that the beginning has to be an alphabet. The second character also has to be an alphabet, and that will be the end. So this shows that the last letter is an alphabet, the first letter is an alphabet. Okay, so this 2 handles this right here, a situation where the username is only 2 characters. So we bring or. So or is going to handle situations where the username is more than 2 characters. So if it's more than 2 characters, the first character has to be an alphabet. So that's why we use this correct symbol and then this right here. And then the last character has to be a number or a digit. So that's why we use this. And then in between you can have your other alphabet here. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's see how to match white spaces. So if you want to match white spaces, the way you do that is to say backslash and then bring the small s. Okay, that's to match all white spaces. So let's just say backslash and then small s. Now let's do console.log of results. And as you can see, we are bringing the first white space. But let's add our global flag. And as you can see, we are bringing all the white spaces in the string. Okay. Now, what if we don't want to match white spaces? We want to match non-white spaces. Again, we do backslash and we do capital S instead of small s. So let's do this. Backslash and let's do capital S. So let's do console.log result. Let's bring our global flag. Yeah. Now you see it brings all the non-white spaces, but if I do small s here, it brings only the white spaces. So that's the opposite. All right, take note of that. Okay, now recall the plus sign that we use to check for one or more characters, and the asterisk to check for 0 or more characters. So we use the plus sign when we want to check if there are one or more of a particular character, and we use the star sign when we want to check if there are 0 or more of a particular character. But what we want to check if there are like a specific amount that we want to check. Okay, so for example, if we want to check whether the character A appears at least 3 times or at most 5 times. So we use the curly braces, and the first figure we write is going to be the least value, and then the second figure is going to be the most value. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. All right. So we will change the regex, regex, to find the entire phrase. Oh no, only when it has 3 to 6 letters of H. Okay, so we have this oh no here, so we'll change this. Now write the O. Okay, let me bring a space and write the no. Now I want to check if this H here, if it is 3 or more times. So for example, we do this and we say if it is at least 3 times, bring the comma, and if it's a smooth 6 times, then return true. Okay, so I'll do console.log result, and you see it returns true. But what if I cleaned one of the H here? Now it returns false because this doesn't have 3 H's. And what if I give it more H like this, which is more than 6? It still returns false. Okay, yeah. So now if I give it back 3 H's, it now returns true. If I give it 4 H's, it returns true. If I give it 5 H's, it returns true. If I give it 6 H's, it returns true. The moment I give it an H which is more than 6, like this, it returns false. Okay, so that's it. Okay, now let's see how we can specify only the lower number of matches. So in the previous example, we're doing checking if it is at least 3 or if it is at most 6. What if we just wanted to check if it's at least 3 and we don't care about the maximum number? Okay, so the way we do that is to just write 3 and bring the comma, and that's it. We don't bring the other one. So for example, here we have the regex to match Hazard only when it has 4 or more Z's. So we are going to write, going to say has, let's bring our curly braces, and we'll say 4. We want to check if it had at least 4. Okay, bring your comma and don't bring anything here. Go outside the bracket and say okay. Now when you console.log result, what do you have? We have true. But if I were to remove one of these z, then you see it returns false because this has 3z and not 4. And if I were to add as many z's as I want, it will still return true because we don't care about the maximum. It can be as many as we want it to be and it will just return true. All right. Okay, now what if we want the exact number? So now we've checked how to check if it is between, let's say, 3 and 6, or if it's at least 3. But what if we want to check if it's exactly a specific number? Okay, the way we do that is to just write the curly braces and put the number we want to check in between. So here we have timber. I want to check only when it has 4 letters of M. So you're just going to do this. Say Tim, bring your curly braces. How many M's do you want to check? 4. Then we'll say like this. Console.log result, and this returns true because this Tim has 1, 2, 3, 4 M's. If I give it 5 M's, it will return false. If I give it 2 M's, it will return false. It has to be exactly 4 M's for it to return true. Okay. Now let's see how we can check all. Let me reset this lesson. Sorry about that. Let me see how you can check all or none. Okay. So for example, here you have this American English, which is color. You have this British English, which is color with a U. So what if we want to make it such that our regex will pass through for both this color and this color? So we'll check whether there is a U after the O or there is not U after the O, which is all or none. So for example, we have favorite here. I want to check such that it will pass for both American English favorite without the U and then British English favorite for the U. So we just write favorite. Okay. Now after the U, bring your, write U, and after the U, bring your question mark. The question mark will check whether this U is present or not. So if this U is present, it will pass or return true. But if it is not present, it will still return true. Okay. So let's do console.log result. And you see here, U is not present. Okay. But it still returns true. And if we should put U here, it will still return true. Okay. Next up, let's see something called the lookahead. So we have both positive and negative lookahead. So lookahead are patterns that tell JavaScript to look ahead in your string. Okay. So first, let me reset this lesson. So it tells JavaScript to look ahead in your string to check for patterns that are further along. So this can be useful when we want to search for multiple patterns over the same string. So we have two kinds of lookahead. The positive lookahead, which you write by writing your question mark and then equal to. And the negative lookahead, which you write by writing the question mark and then exclamation mark. Okay. So positive lookahead will make sure the element in the search pattern is there, but won't actually match. A negative lookahead, on the other hand, negative lookahead will make sure the element in this pattern is not there. So let's see an example. Here we have kill, and then the positive lookahead equal to U. So we will check if there is a U after this kill. And this we have kill and a negative look ahead of U. And it will check if there is no U after the kill. Okay. All right. So let's see an examples. We want to use the look ahead in the password regex or PW regex here to match passwords that are greater than 5 characters and have 2 consecutive digits. Okay. So what do we do? First, we have to check if you don't understand why I'm bringing this bracket, don't worry. We'll look at a lesson that handles that very soon. Okay, so I'll bring my look ahead and let's check a positive look ahead because we want to check that the password has 5 or more, have a length that is more than 5 characters. Okay, so we want to check if the password that are greater than 5 characters. Okay, so we'll do this and we'll say W, because W gives us all the characters. And then let's bring our curly braces and we'll say 6. Okay, so this means that we'll check whether it is greater than 5, because 6 is greater than 5. Any number after 6 is also greater than 5. All right, now let's bring another parenthesis. What I'm going to do is I need another look ahead, a positive look ahead. And I want to check that there are no numbers. Okay, sorry, there are no non-numbers because we are told there has to have 2 consecutive digits. So we want a situation where there are only 2 numbers. So D, then let's bring our curly braces 2. So let me explain what is happening here. What is happening here is that first we are having a look ahead that checks if the password is more than 5, greater than 5. So we are saying greater than 5 characters. And we also want to check if the password contains 2 consecutive numbers. Okay, so it has to have at least 2 consecutive numbers in there. Okay. Okay, so check for mixed grouping of characters. So, all right, so now let's look at let's look at the parenthesis symbol and what it does. So we use to check groups of characters using a regular expression, and to achieve that we have to use parenthesis. Okay, so if you want to find either penguin or pumpkin, you can do that. Remember, both begins with a P and both of them ends with IN. What is different is what is between them. So you can bring your parenthesis, okay, and then you put this here for penguin, and then you bring your pipe symbol, which stands for or. So anytime you have P, this character would, or this string here, and then IN, it should return true because that is penguin. And anytime you have P and you have this up here and then IN, it should return true because you have pumpkin. So either of this, penguin or pumpkin, will return true. Okay, so now for the exercise, we want to fix the regex so that it checks for the names of Franklin Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt in a case-sensitive manner. So keep that in mind. And it should make concessions for middle name. Okay, so Franklin Roosevelt had a middle name which is D, so we are going to handle that. So the way we're going to do that is to say let my regex now let's bring the caret. So we want to check if the regex begins with 2 things. First, Franklin Roosevelt. Now we're told to handle middle name, so we're going to say Franklin D. Roosevelt. But if we can't leave this D like that, otherwise it will be treated as a wildcard. Remember that wildcard lesson? So we just have to bring backslash like so that JavaScript will treat this D as an actual, this dot as an actual dot and not as a wildcard symbol. So you bring or, so Franklin Roosevelt or Eleanor Roosevelt, like so. And mind you, we are also to search for case sensitive, to search in a case sensitive manner. So we'll bring I like so, and that should be it. Now, we are told to check against my string. So my string, let's check against it. We'll clean this false here, and we'll say my regex.test my string, okay. My regex, not my regex. So let's do a console.log of result. Yeah, and we get true. Okay. All right, let's see how we can reuse patterns using something called capture groups. So we have this repeat str row your bot, and so we have, let me reset this lesson, and we have this 42 here, and we want to use capture group in regex to match a string that consists of only the same number. Okay, so I encourage you to read this and then let's try and solve it. So first we're going to say caret symbol, let's bring our parentheses, let's do D plus, and let's bring our 1, and then 1 for the end character as well. Okay, so that is going to be it. Now we can also use Regex to search and replace. Okay, you can use Regex to search and replace characters, and the way you do that is to, let's see this example. Write a fake Regex using 3 capture groups that would search for each word in 1, 2, or 3, and then update the replace text variable so that 1, 2, or 3 with the string is replaced with 3, 2, 1, and assign the result to the result variable. Okay, make sure you are utilizing capture groups in the replacement string using the $sign. Okay, so first in the replacement string, let's do that. We'll say 3, 2, and then 1. So that's what we'll be replacing with. Now, for the change, we want to check for W, which will check for all alphanumeric characters. And I want to check for space characters. Okay, we also want to check for other alphanumeric characters. So another W plus. We also want to check another space. We also want to check another alphanumeric characters, because these are 3. Okay, so 1 here, this is what we are checking for the first one, and this is the space. Okay, and this is the second one, and then this is the space, the second space, and then this is the third one. So just like so. Now let's do console.log of result. Let's see what we are getting. So you see, instead of 1, 2, 3, we are replacing it with 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Okay, why can't I go to, yeah, Is that the last lesson? No, I don't think so. Give me a moment. Let me try and figure this out. So this lesson is called Use Capture Group to Search and Replace. Okay. Okay, all right. So I'll end this one right here and we'll continue with the next one later on. Okay, yeah, so here we have it. We have this, I think this is probably the last one. So replace white spaces from start to end. Okay, so we have hello world and want to replace this white spaces here. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is to say, let's check if there are white spaces, which we denote by the small letter s, or if there are white spaces at the end, which we denote by the $sign, remember? And then let's bring our global symbol. Okay, so now we want to replace, we'll do hello, which is the string, dot replace. Then the first is going to be Regex that we just created. And the second is going to be an empty string. So let's console.log result. All right, we get hello world. Okay, I think that's probably it. Yeah, so that's it for the regular expression. So one thing I want to do is, if you want to dive deep into regular expression, I will say that have a look at this book right here on FreeCodeCamp. I will leave a link to it below, and it dives deep and has more on regular expression. You can learn about it. So I'll highly encourage you to have a look at the book if you want to dive deep into regular expression. All right, but that will be it for now. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.